Good morning and welcome to the official launch of the Nkhalo Festival Hiking platform. The launch is happening here at Nkhalo, area 15 million, that is virtually out there, and that is why all of you are able to attend. Youth, before we proceed with our launch, this has been set to be a webinar, meaning to say everyone of you attendees have been automatically muted. However, as the program proceeds, we'll have a answer session whereby if you might have a question, you will have to raise your hand and our tech team will be able to unmute you and you'll be able to ask a few questions. Other than that, make sure that if you want to ask a question, make sure that you are at a quiet environment with no noises so that we don't have some noise feedbacks and we are as smooth and as clear and audible enough. An order of the events that will be happening now. First of all, we'll have some welcome remarks from Mr. Elijah Lumbani Mtandawire, who is the acting CEO, Chief Executive Officer of NHAB. After that, we'll go straight into a video demonstration that we have prepared for you, just so you are able to appreciate the website itself, how it will be operating, how you'll be able to check or choose through it and upload some archives that you might have. After that, we'll have a panel discussion that will be led by my colleague, Mr. Dennis Imani. After that, Dennis will proceed with the question and answer. So in case you might have some questions as we proceed with the program, as you look through the video presentation, do jot it down so that as the question and answer session comes in, as we start with the question and answers, you'll be able to raise your hand and we'll be able to give you the chance to ask your question. However, it is not a must for you to speak. It is not a must for questions. You might ask. It is not a must for you. It is not a must for you to answer all the necessary answers that you might have. After that, we'll have some closing remarks by our supporting team, supporting partner, which is supporting partner. Other than that, without further ado, allow me to welcome Mr. Elijah Nkhalo as the opening remarks. Thank you. Thank you.
All protocols observed, having platform today to celebrate this important milestone for the resources of the Open Minds Room project. For those who may not be well acquainted with this particular project, the Able Supported Room project works with creative online content creators in Malawi, Zambia, and Zimbabwe with the ultimate goal of enabling these critical content makers to become more independent, sustainable, and reach a wider audiences with their online content. We're also challenging the repressive norms of the societies in which they operate. In November 2021, to be very precise, the Room project commissioned Stimulus Africa to conduct an archiving workshop where over 30 content makers from Zimbabwe, Zambia, and Malawi were invited. The workshop helped the Room project to identify some sustainable solutions and practical alternatives to mainstream social media for audio-visual content archiving. Through this particular initiative, MHub was contracted to develop what we call as the Nkhalo online archiving platform. And this platform enables critical content creators to become more independent and sustainable, or at the same time, reaching a wider audience with the online content. And today we are thrilled to finally unveil the Nkhalo website to the world, and we couldn't have done it without the hard work and dedication of the Room project team, Stimulus Africa, but also even MHub colleagues. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us on this special occasion, and we look forward to sharing this momentous occasion with you, and we are very excited for the impact that the Nkhalo will have on the creative content online creators in Malawi, Zimbabwe, but also Zambia. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Elijah. Now we'll have time to look at a video presentation that has been saved so that you will be able to appreciate the website, how it will actually when ladies and gentlemen, this means that now the website is functional. Feel free to visit it at www.nkhalo.com. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the panel discussion where we have invited delegates from different institutions just so they can share and enlighten us more on why culture is important and why this platform actually is very much important to Malawi and our sister country. So allow me to appreciate the presence of Mr. Nkhalo, who is joining us virtually, part of the panelists from UNESCO. Also, let me recognize Mr. Alan Mukombe, who is from the Department of Museum and Monuments, and of course, Mr. Sukai, who is from the Film Association of Malawi. Over to you, Lennox, for the panel discussion.
Thank you so much and welcome to this panel discussion. My name is Dennis Imani and I'm a creative facilitator and I love everything about digital as well. So I'm here today with Mr. Arnold Kombe from the Department of Museum and Monuments in the Ministry of Tourism and Culture. That's correct? Aaron. Yes. All right, great. And Mr. Gift Sukali, also known as Sukez in the film circles, who is the president of the Film Association of Malawi. And we're also joined online by Mr. Christopher Magomero from UNESCO. So welcome. We're here to just have a conversation about this platform that we have just seen, the Nkhalo Digital Archiving Platform. On how important it is for us as creatives, as countries in this part of Africa, that's Zambia, Malawi, and Zimbabwe, on archiving our histories, our culture, and basically our moments. So I've got several things that I would want to understand from each one of my guests today. And I think my first question is going to go to Mr. Aaron from the Department of Culture. What efforts are there in Malawi as a country to digitize or archive our culture?
Thank you so much. The Department of Museums and Monuments, which we have today. Yes, we fall within culture, we have all culture, and in culture we have Department of Arts, which is looking at the arts, and then the Department of Museums and Monuments, and the Department of National Archives and Records. So my focus will really be on the Department of Museums and Monuments, what we do in heritage and culture.
We are mandated by the Malawi government to study Malawian natural and cultural heritage. So both cultural and natural heritage has to be studied. That is, we need to identify it. So we do research to identify those elements of our culture that we need to bring to the fore. People should know about that. So what we do, and the efforts, all our efforts are in line with identifying, let's bring to the fore the cultural elements, the history that we have. What is it that we have in natural history, in cultural history? What is it that we have as a country? People should know that this is what we have. And from there, we also have to ensure that we preserve that which we have identified. So we are also in the business of conserving for preservation of our heritage. And we also present that heritage. So let's present those elements that we have identified, preserved. Let's present them so that people know that we have these elements. So we, at the moment, have a number of publications that we have done to make sure that all that we have tried to get in the years past to date is preserved in that form. So this is in brief what we are doing at the moment.
So these publications that you have, are they in digital form, in hard copy form, or what forms are they?
The this, all these are in hard copy. The hard copy forms, that is for what we have written. Again, another way of having to present that information, what we do is that we establish monuments and sites. So those that we cannot probably move from one place to another, we just present them in situ so that people can, so we will still write, and that will be in a hard copy form. We still write, we have that hard copy form, and then we present it as a monument or as a site. And then for intangible cultural elements, what we do is we promote now performance. And this is why, as a department, we are facilitating the festivals, cultural heritage festivals. At the moment, we have about 10 of them across the country. Yes.
Now, you have talked about preserving, you have talked about presentation, and I think that takes me to Mr. Gift Sukari. You are here in your capacity as the president of the Film Association, and we understand the power that film has in preserving heritage, which is history, cultural elements, and all that.
Yeah.
I think as content creators, we have the power that we can actually go out there, create something, and present it to people.
Yeah.
What efforts are there in your association, the Film Association of Malawi, to promote culture, which is history, and also even the intangible elements that we have? What can we share with us?
Okay. So firstly, as an association, we have quite a number of members from different areas in Malawi, north, south, as well as central region. So as a capacity of the association, first of all, we want to build capacity of our members so that they know the skills, because we might have everything, but if we do not know how to capture the elements of how maybe our culture, then it's literally like nothing. So we always try to make sure that we build capacity of our members so that they go out there to shoot stories, to shoot movies about our culture. And once they do that, we also have a festival which we introduced last year called Malawi Film Festival. So what we're doing is to it's happening in November. So every November, before that, we do the trainings. Then the people they do the films. They go out, shoot. And from there, we showcase these films to the public. So apart from that, we're also trying to find funds so that we can be able to have our own equipment, so that our members will be able to come maybe hire for their works, because we need to preserve our culture in a way that it can be useful even in the next 10, 20 years. So it means that if we're shooting, let's say, movies about Malawi, or let's say location about Malawi, there has to be in highest quality, because in next 10 years time, the quality will still, it has to be maintained. The same way we right now, we're able to maybe watch movies from way back from, let's say, other countries and still enjoy them. They made sure that they used equipment which is long lasting in terms of details and also the quality. So as an association, we still putting efforts to find funds so that we're able to maybe have this kind of equipment and be able, our members to be able to hire. And that, I'm sure that is what we're doing as an association, to make sure that we're helping our culture as Malawi to be preserved for years.
Thank you so much, Gift. Like I said, we're also joined online by Mr. Magomero from UNESCO. So I would like to ask you, Mr. Magomero, and welcome for joining us. As UNESCO, what can you share with us about the profile of there's Malawi, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. When it comes to cultural heritage, according to the site that we have, and also the efforts that are in place to promote our heritage of this part of Africa. What efforts are there, and what is our profile like for the three countries?
Well, I'll talk from the UNESCO perspective, because that's basically my line of work. I work for an institution that works for UNESCO. So there are a lot of efforts. Actually, the UNESCO regional office for Southern Africa has got a strategy on culture for this part of the African continent, that is Southern Africa. And in the area of culture, we have had a number of collaborations with our neighboring countries, not only Zimbabwe, Zambia, Mozambique, but also Namibia, Botswana, Swaziland, Lesotho, because all these fall under the UNESCO Regional Office for Southern Africa. And we have created, in the area of intangible cultural heritage, we have created a platform that we are calling Southern Africa Intangible Cultural Heritage Network. This is a network of professionals in the field of culture, particularly intangible cultural heritage. And they share what they're doing, which is, first of all, documenting intangible cultural heritage in all these countries. And they host the documentation that they have created on an online platform, which is also called the SAIC Network Platform. SAIC, that's SAICH, meaning Southern Africa Intangible Cultural Heritage Network. So it is an online platform which hosts documentation on intangible cultural heritage. So if people are interested, you can just log in to that. It's a public platform, but of course, only certain individuals have got the right to upload material on that network. So that's what we're doing in the area of safeguarding our intangible cultural heritage in this part of Africa. Secondly, we also have a network of experts in the area of cultural diversity. I think in Malawi, the former president of Film Association, Isaiah Mkandawi, is one of the experts that were trained. And also we have another expert in the Department of Arts who are experts in collecting information and data on what is happening in the area of cultural diversity. And they are supposed to coordinate the development of reports. These reports are done quarterly. That is after every 4 years. And they're called quadrennial reports. So they collect information, they put it together, they produce reports, and they submit them to UNESCO so that UNESCO has got information about what is happening in the area of cultural diversity. Now, cultural diversity is wide, but in a nutshell, it is actually about cultural industries, right? So the idea is to know what is going on in each country on cultural industries. And so we're talking about the film industry, the music industry, the book industry, the visual arts industry, all the heritage industry, So all those industries, data is being collected annually, and eventually that quadrennial report is compiled and submitted. Let me also mention that, in a way, Malawi was sort of lagging behind our immediate neighboring countries. For example, Zambia has got a culture council. Zimbabwe has got a culture council, but Malawi does not have a culture council. And in both those countries, they also have a culture fund, which helps to fund activities in this area. And in terms of digital archiving, like I said, I think the platform is a good example. The site platform is a good example of digital archiving, because these documents are collected on video, on audio, and even on written documents, which are stored on this digital platform, and they can stay there forever. If you use modern technology, they can be accessed from anywhere in the world. Let me stop there for a moment. Thank you.
For those input. One thing that we would like to understand from UNESCO is how does a cultural element site qualify to be part of the UNESCO World Heritage? I think we have got several sites in Malawi or several cultural elements, but there are not as many maybe as our neighboring countries. So what's the process like for us to have like more elements or sites enlisted on the UNESCO World Heritage?
Thank you for that question. Okay, UNESCO maintains several lists, okay? But since you've been specific on World Heritage List, let me first of all respond to the World Heritage List. The World Heritage List contains the sites that countries have nominated to be of outstanding universal value. That is the criteria they use. Are they of outstanding universal value? From what perspective? From the natural heritage perspective, the cultural heritage perspective, and the mix. That is a mix of natural and cultural heritage value perspective. So a site can be nominated only if it satisfies the outstanding universal valueness. So it has to be unique. It means it cannot be found elsewhere in the world. I'll give the example of Lake Malawi National Park, which is a World Heritage Site for Malawi. The reason why it was nominated and inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage Site is because it is unique in the sense that it is the only, or rather, it was the first underwater national park. That's the first thing. Secondly, it has got unique biodiversity, including the Mbuna fish, which is unique, or it is endemic to Lake Malawi National Park alone. And in fact, the species of the Mbuna, depending on the studies, range between 500 and 1,000 species of Mbuna fish alone. And that is very big. That is, you have enough, you have more Mbuna fish species in Lake Malawi National Park alone than in the waters of Europe and America combined. I think a lot of people do not see this uniqueness, We just talk about fish generally, but the Mbuna fish is endemic to this part to this lake. It means it cannot survive the same way it survives in Lake Malawi elsewhere. And the third value is the beauty of Lake Malawi National Park. It's unparalleled. So that's the criteria that is used. It has to be unique. The same with Chongoni rock art, which I think Mr. Kombe can speak more. I mean, it is unique in the sense that the number of rock paintings that you can find in this space cannot be found anywhere else. And actually, we're also talking about the unique cultural characteristics of the people that lived in that area. So that's the criteria that is used. And it's not easy to have a site nominated on UNESCO World Heritage Site list. It's not easy. And we have in Malawi a tentative list, which means sites that we have identified as potential candidates for nomination to be on the World Heritage List. And we've been trying. It's not that there haven't been efforts. There have been a lot of efforts. We've been trying to nominate a number of these from this tentative list. But we were told these are not unique to the standard that UNESCO wants. To us, they may look that. People say, you see, this is beautiful mountain. Like, for example, Nika Plateau, we started a long time ago trying to nominate Nika Plateau. Experts have come, advised us. We have engaged various experts to write the nomination file. But we are told it's not different from other places. The same way with Mulanje Mountain, efforts are still undergoing, to try and nominate Mulanje Mountain. So we've tried to nominate as a natural heritage, we've tried to nominate as a mixed heritage, we've tried to nominate as just cultural, but hey, we're still struggling. So let me stop there also. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think I know some of these, like the Mulanje Mountain one. I know the efforts that have been put together to try and have it on the World Heritage Site, and until now it's not there. So I've been wondering what's wrong with that. So you have talked about all these units and whatnot. One thing that I believe is that I think as Malawi, as a culture, there are a lot of unique aspects that we have. Whether it's from the past, even at present, we might be maybe copying a lot of things from outside, which could be maybe a risk to how we preserve our culture and our heritage and all that. From your perspective, let's say as an individual and also as someone from the Department of Monuments, what do you think can be done for us, let's say, as individuals to actively participate in conserving our culture, our heritage, and also our history? I'm asking this because I think one thing that we usually do is we forget that today, whatever we're doing here, this conversation today, 100 years from now is going to be different. It's going to be a whole different the microphones maybe that we are holding, the chairs. When people look back, they'll be like, these people are having conversations like this. It's going to be a part of history. How we're dressing today, people look back and say, wow, look at how these guys were dressing. Why do you think it is now very important that we learn to hold to these things and actively participate in making sure that we're preserving these moments? So it's from the past and even today.
Yeah, thank you so much for that person. Probably just a word on the question that was posed to Mr. Magomero shortly. He tackled so well on the issue of the World Heritage listing. The World Heritage Center has its guidelines, about 10 selection criteria that are used to inscribe a site as a World Heritage Site. So these especially apply to sites or monuments, but for intangible cultural heritage, there is again another list and another convention that handles such things. So for example, in the intangible cultural heritage, we have the 2003 convention. And this convention has, again, its own list where intangible cultural elements have to be listed. For example, here in Malawi, we have such elements like Minoe, a dance from up north. It's a joyous dance. So it is a cultural tradition that is so unique that we need to make people aware that we have this element here in Malawi. So there are a number, I think we have about 4. Gulawankulu is one of them. And Gulawankulu, very unique. We did this in listing together with Zambia and Mozambique because they also have Gulawankulu there. So you can see that just to give a bit of meat to, again, the question that was offered to Mr. Magomero about the profiling of our heritage in Central Africa. So there is that collaboration with our friends within the region so that we list these elements, the elements that are unique to all of us. Again, a very good example is Mbia music or the use of salsa. So that one, we did it together with Zimbabwe. And even in Sima itself is there listed as a masterpiece. So we listed it as a country. So there are certain elements that we try, we put them up so that people know, the world knows that we have these very unique elements here right now. So I just wanted to get to that. What we need to understand is that heritage is our identity. That's our life. I think the most important thing should be that each one of us must understand that the cultural heritage, the heritage that we are talking about, that's what gives us the identity. We might try to copy or to inherit a heritage from elsewhere, but would lack that historical basis. We have this heritage that we have here in Malawi, the one that we party to here in Malawi. This one has come from generations past. At least we can associate with it from our fathers, forefathers back was. So where each one of us has gotten to understand that heritage is very important, it is heritage that defines our identity. That's when we can all come together to participate in sharing these moments. We have quite a lot. We have quite a lot. I can give you just one example of something that we have right here now. A few days ago, I was talking with someone, a friend of mine. I don't know what led to the discussion of dinosaurs. So you were saying, no, dinosaurs, these are fairly animals. We didn't have dinosaurs right here in this one. So I said, no, we had dinosaurs. And in fact, right here in Malawi, we had dinosaurs. He said, no, you're lying. You see? Now, that is to show you that we do not even know that what we have as a country. What is it that we have? We had quite a lot. There is so much. And in fact, in relation to the dinosaurs that I was talking about here, the dinosaurs that we had right here in Malawi are so unique. And this is why we called them Malawi Solas, because they are a bit different from the dinosaurs that you find elsewhere. So you can see that we have quite a lot, but we can only share where there is knowledge. We understand that we have something that is unique and we need to do something about it. I think, let me stop there.
Thank you so much. And that now takes me to you, Gifty Sukari. From this conversation, you can see that we're referring to things that happened, dinosaurs, for example. It's, I don't know, is it hundreds or thousands of years ago? That,
over 60 million.
Look at that. And now people would say, no, we didn't have dinosaurs because maybe there isn't enough evidence. Probably we have the Malawi dinosaurs bones in Karonga, yeah, the ones that in Karonga. We can look back at that and say, oh no, there's this that was found here in Malawi, so it can prove a case. I was talking to a few people in the past week about the Chilembwe days. There are a lot of history and a lot of issues that come out. And one of them is that it's not too clear about different details about the uprising that John Chilembwe laid. And even, let's say, there's a simple issue as the identity of John Chilembwe. I saw this debate on social media. No, which is the face of Chilembwe? People are using the one that's on the banknotes and the one that appears in different books. Like, how was this person looking different at different times and whatnot? Mm-hmm. So you as a creative who uses film, uses audio, mm-hmm. how important do you think it is that today, in the age where you have gadgets everywhere in our hands, where we can actually record the voices, we can record videos, we can take pictures of what's happening now. What do you think is important for us to actively do that and be conscious about it, that the moment that we're living could be important in the future? So I'm talking to you about this, looking at this platform, or the other platform that might be there out there for archiving, where people can actually store these things. You can put this on Facebook or wherever in social media, it goes. No, it's not in your control. Yeah. But this platform is where anything that you capture today, you can store it there. How important do you think this is? And why should we actively participate in archiving?
Okay, thank you so much. I think as I said, people do not believe maybe some of the things because there is no much evidence, maybe showing them that this is, it's here. For example, he's talking about dinosaurs, right? Someone from Chitipa, someone from Sanje, who has never traveled to Kalonga to see the bones of dinosaurs. Generally, they'll say that dinosaurs, they did exist, because even myself, it took me time to go and say, oh, okay, this is it, you know. And look, I think it really exists, you know. If we don't give that room of creating evidence of things, people, it's easy to distort information. Imagine that we have pictures of John Chilembwe, but probably I think two actual, like the actual pictures, that is, I think, I'm sure that probably you have the original pictures as a museum department, but probably because probably it hasn't been out there probably to publicize it, or probably to put it in video, you know, because what happens in other countries is they will do a film of, let's say, John Chilembwe, and they will look at the pictures and create something which is labeled, it's resembling that, you know, and people will have that as evidence. The same way we have a film of Jesus. Everybody now believes that Jesus looks like this just from a film, and you cannot convince anyone now that no, Jesus is black, or probably Jesus is Chinese, because they have put evidence that this is how. I'm sure that they did not just come up with that evidence. They had to do research and say, okay, I think this is how he was looking. So the same way, now it's very important to preserve our culture and the things how they are now, you know. A lot of things, they are dying out, you know. We had dances, I'm sure now, even if you go to the villages, you find now they are dancing kwaito, they are dancing hip hop, they're dancing other things which they are not our culture. And you look at our culture is dying, but we have evidence. How can we capture that? It's through film, for example, because if I go now and just shoot what's remaining, as association, I think last year there was a project where we had to document Bona traditional, you know, in Sanje. Yeah, that thing now is on YouTube. It's also on our website, meaning that even if, let's say, it dies, right, I'll be able to tell my daughter, my son, that we had this, and it's up to them to say, to relate more of a connection, you know. But if we don't do that, it means that it will just be written off the history of Malawi. and now our culture will die, and we now just become a foreign country with foreign values. But it's very important now to preserve our culture because that's our identity. You know, we have to be proud of where we're coming from. Right now, people even don't know if when they go to their villages, they don't even speak their languages. They don't even know. They don't even laugh when they see people dressing in you know. But it's very important to preserve those things because at the end of the day, it's our identity. We're not Americans. We're not Russians. We're not Japanese. We have our own identity, and it's very important to preserve that. I've seen that especially in Southern Africa, like South Africa. They have preserved their culture and they're proud of their culture. If you go to Durban, KwaZulu-Natal, you find people doing traditional weddings. They're dressing like in how they used to dress way back, and everybody's proud of that. And it's when you watch it like on YouTube, or you be like, these guys are proud. It's something which we have to imitate as Malawians as well, to just be proud of our culture, so that other generations to come, they are also be able to be identified as Malawians.
Thank you so much. Let's go online, back to Mr. Magomero. For you, sir, how do you think individuals now can be supported to highlight and promote culture? We know UNESCO has got a huge mandate of preserving these things, educating and creating awareness about different things. So from where you are, how are individuals now being assisted to make sure that they play an active role in the mandate that you push forward as UNESCO?
Yeah, I think first of all, what is important is to generate interest in people, individuals, and institutions in the value of preserving our culture, safeguarding and preserving our culture. And that is not easy. Why? Because, you know, culture is dynamic. Yeah. And if we ask ourselves individually, how we dress every day, what we eat every day, yeah, even us who are working in the culture field, yeah, do we really portray that interest in our own culture? You know, I think it has to start with us as individuals, and then we can speak with confidence, yeah, in terms of the direction that we think is the best for our country. But then there are a lot of opportunities out there for individuals to be assisted to, engage in projects that are geared towards preserving their culture and the culture of their country. UNESCO has got several funds that it has. Here in Malawi, we also have a number of funds that people can access. For example, the Copyright Fund, we have the NIF, we have the Innovation Fund. You know, there are a number of them on the market. So people can access those, but they have to present good ideas, that are sellable. Ideas that are, also in line with the objectives of the funders, unfortunately. But I think we should not be looking outside all the time for assistance. I think we can start as individuals, to begin to do, baby steps, to begin to take baby steps in terms of preserving our own culture. And there's a lot that we can do. We can be preserving, what is already happening in our villages. I mean, we go to the villages, we take pictures, we preserve them. Yeah, there are a lot of digital platforms these days. We preserve them. Those are baby steps that can really go a long way. If each one of us is recording something cultural every day and preserving it digital, how many digital digital archives will we have? Maybe also go on to say from a national perspective, I think we're doing quite a lot. Just to add to what Aaron has said in terms of preserving the traditional dances, traditional culinary traditions. Yeah, that's food traditions, right? And other forms of traditions, folk songs, folk tales. We're doing a lot. For example, National Library Service and the Mzuzu University have collected a lot of folk tales and proverbs, from throughout Malawi. And the National Library Service is also developing a database of folk tales and folk songs that they have collected and continue to collect. And the Music Crossroads has also collected a lot of folk songs, and they want to use that to teach young budding musicians on our own musical traditions, yeah, so that they can begin to produce musical traditions that have got the Malawian cultural flavor, yeah, that you can actually say, this is coming from Malawi. This is not an adaptation of Davido, yeah, for example. People are just adapting musical genre from other countries. We want something that can be associated with Malawi. And therefore, that was the idea behind that project that Music Crossroads has done. And they want to use that in their music academy. And in addition to that, UNESCO has got that other list that Aaron has said. And on there, we have Bulewankuru as a multinational cultural practice involving Malawi, Zambia, and Mozambique, and actually Zimbabwe, although it's not listed officially there. And then we also have Mwinowe, as he said. We have Vimbuza, the healing dance. We have Mwinowe, the joyous dance. We have Chopa, the sacrificial dance. We also have Nsima, the culinary tradition of Malawi. When they say Nsima there, it's not just the thick porridge, yeah, that's called it, thick porridge, but it is about the tradition of preparing Nsima and its accompaniments, ndio. So all of that is packaged as Nsima, the culinary tradition of Malawi. And it's not just Malawi that it's Nsima, right? It's there in Zambia, it's there in Zambia, in other countries. So we're trying to interest also our neighboring countries to join in the nomination so that it becomes a multinational nomination again, so that we can preserve this tradition together. And again, on archiving, we have introduced a degree course at Malawi University of Science and Technology to teach people how to archive, and that means the whole process from records keeping to archiving. What happens, in that whole process. So this project this degree is new, and they will be taking the first cohort possibly this year. And so in 4 years' time, we'll have the first graduates in archiving in Malawi. Yeah, I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all that and all the input. And I think from what you have said and everybody else has said here, and mainly this because it gives a liberal space to different creatives. So like those that have seen the video or how to do it, you just create a profile where you tell us what you do, and then you have a space where you can actually put in all your content as a creator, whether it's in video forms, and then you collaborate with other people who are interested, let's say, in your area of specialization, whether you're doing a research and whatnot. So I think this is a very important step that we are now giving different creatives a platform where they know they can actually store their things and also network and collaborate with other creators from different countries that are interested in what they do. As your last word, Gifts, what would you say in a minute to people that would be interested, or sometimes maybe they lack interest in creating content, and in this case, for the sake of making sure that it's preserved for other generations to just learn from it?
I think my word, first of all, it's to make sure that we're proud. We should be proud of our culture. We should be patriotic to our country, because if we don't do that, then anything about preserving, we don't care. But we have to care of what we have. We have to look at it as God, because it's unique to Malawi. If we start looking at our dances, our food, our way of dressing, everything as something which is only found in Malawi, I'm sure that we will be able to be interested to keep it and be proud that no, you can never find this anywhere. I remember this is the time this African print
Apologies for that break in transmission. We know things are not okay in Kariambula and our situation will come to power. But we are back and we're about to wrap up this panel discussion. And Sukes, you were speaking about being proud and being able to actively get involved in content creation. Yeah. Can you finish in the last statement?
Yeah. So I'll say, let's just be proud and just do something which you know that this can preserve our culture. If you see something, you're traveling, you see Chinyao, take pictures, upload it somewhere. There's now Nkhalo. I'm sure you'll also give people to be able to upload pictures, I'm sure. So be able to maybe use that, also other platforms, but also maybe just a word to organizations, corporate, as well as the government. It's high time we support the creative sector, because those are the people who can preserve our culture. And as I've always said, that our culture is God. We can sell, we can value our culture, and even what we're facing, the problems of Forex. There are people dying there to see something unique, something which they have never seen. If you show them our dances, they are willing to pay. I've seen people who have made money just uploading pictures from Malawi about our culture, but they're doing it at an individual level. So the impact is not that much. But if we do it as a country, even imagine films, if we do films, for example, of Chilembwe, I'm sure it's a big budget. That's why maybe individuals, they cannot just go in and shoot, but I'm sure the government or corporate and organization, they have that capacity. I'm sure if they able to support, let's say, shoot this our legendary Chilembwe or Kamuzu. There are people out there who have just been reading about Chilembwe. They would love to watch films of Chilembwe. And trust me, if we shoot a movie of Chilembwe and we market it good, it's a big revenue for the country, you know. So it's just a matter of looking at the bigger picture, not just looking at on a small scale, but let's try to do things, preserve culture at a larger scale, and also maybe export it. Not just, we should just preserve and just keep it here. We should preserve it, but also sell it out there, so that the Department of Museum, they can do more, they can have more sites as well. Right now, I'm sure we have 2, if not 3. Do we have one in museum? We don't have, but I'm sure it's a matter of funds. But how can we do that? If we support one project and we export that, the funds come, and I'm sure they'll be able to get something from that, and probably have more museums and attract tourists to the country. So let's just be involved and be proud of our country.
Thank you so much, Gift. And in conclusion, from your end, what would you say to people that your department oversees? And I'm asking you, I want you to think of the future. Probably we might have missed a lot of things. We might have not put in place a lot of things that could qualify for sites, monuments, and whatnot. But today, as we speak, there are a lot of moments, a lot of occurrences, a lot of events, a lot of things that have been created that could actually qualify maybe later on. What will you speak to a young person today about preserving things, the moments that are happening for the sake of the future?
Thank you so much for that question. I think let me start by saying that culture is the one that determines what we think of as food, as we think what we think of as dressing, a code of dressing that is would describe as normal or something acceptable. We are defined by that code, which is culture, which is our cultural heritage. And we have quite a lot. And we are still producing. So whatever we do, and whatever we do at the moment, It is very, very important that we make sure that we ensure that we preserve that for the future. What is happening today is history tomorrow. And what is history? All that happened in the past. Now, for example, at the moment, the syllabus that we have at secondary school for history is, I think, the previous one was ending up to 2000. And then this time around, I think it is somewhere 2000 or something, I think. But they always move like that. So whatever happened during the democratic era, those that were there, those are issues that are being discussed now. Now, we are going to have the similar problems to say, for example, Dr. Bakiri Mlozo look like this, or look like that, as is the case with Chirembe. And in fact, just to say something about the Chirembe picture, is that Chirembe had a blood as well, Morris. And sometimes people use the Chirembe, the Morris's picture as Chirembe's picture. So there is that mix up a bit. Now, what I would urge our friends in the film industry and other content creators is that let's try to use our heritage, our history and heritage as material for producing content. You go on YouTube today, you type historical films or historical movies or movies based on historical accounts or events. You find them, many of them, but you find probably none from our own country. And our friends out there have tried to market their history, to leash us here. And we are so well aware of what happened in Britain or USA. Might be talking of China and the like, than what actually happened right here in Malawi. We might not say anything about probably Mberwa and the wars that he has fought, or Comanche here, or any other ship here in Malawi. But we might know something about King Henry V, or King Henry VIII, or Queen Elizabeth. Why? Because our friends have tried to utilize their historic accounts and formulate content for consumption, for public consumption. That's something that we need to emulate. And let me challenge you content creators that let's cooperate. Let's work hand in hand. Let's see which material you want to use for creating content, and we are here to provide that information. We are in a public office, and we are entitled to give you that information so that you create content that is also historical or based on heritage. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. And while we were speaking about history and all those things, actually, I was thinking back to a conversation that I had with our colleagues here when we are preparing for this, that there are like a lot of people that will tell you about the Taj Mahal. Yes. And what that is, when it was built and why they built it. But most of them, even if we now talk about the recent past, last year, 2019, just an account of let's say, the mass demonstrations that were happening in this country. When was this demonstration happening? What were people demonstrating against? Okay, even the constitutional court case, all the details about that. A lot of people will not tell you what happened, but they can remember what they learned in class about King Henry, Queen Elizabeth, and all that. You see? So I think it's now the onus is on us as creatives, people that have the capacity to actually document these things, write something, produce audio films that really support the efforts of preserving different moments that we're living in for the future and also for ourselves. Thank you so much, Mr. Gift Sugali, Mr. Aaron Pombe, and also Mr. Christopher Magomero from UNESCO, who joined us online. Let me now hand over to our host. I'm sure there might be maybe some questions that came online as we're discussing. So maybe it's time where we can get some questions before we leave this stage. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dennis, for leading that impactful, like very knowledgeable discussion. It is amazing how much of culture we did not know until today. And thank you to Mr. Sukari from Film Association of Malawi, representing all the creatives in the country. Thank you to Mr. Alon Kombe, a delegate from the Department of Museum and Monuments. And of course, thank you to Mr. Magomero from UNESCO, who was able to join online. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the question and answer session. So for this session, feel free to type in any question that you might have, either to the panelists or just general questions about the Nkhalo website and how it will be functioning. And if you're not comfortable with typing or with just jotting down your question, feel free to raise your hand and we'll be able to give you the right to unmute yourself and ask your questions. So right now, let me give you the opportunity to think through or write down your questions in the chat so that we're able to address all your questions. Thank you.
So yeah, if you have any question and you joined us online, I think it's time that you can ask that question. If you have any question in regards to this conversation, whether to the Department of Monuments and Museums or to UNESCO or to creatives, or if you have any comments, it's time that you can actually ask your question. You can write a question or raise a hand and you can be added so you can get your question. All right, so there's a question on, can you take us through how we can register and upload or share content on the platform? There's a video that I think was played and you can see how to play it. But I think what happens is that there's a registration when you go to nkhalo.com, then you create a profile. So that's the video that's showing, and I shows you how to create a profile and how to go to the dashboard and upload content. So let's just watch that video one more time on how to actually register and upload content on the platform. that video shows us how to create a platform and also how to create content. The easier way basically is to go to nkhalo.com, which is nkhalo.com, and try to just go through the site and see how it works. So I've got several questions here that have been asked, and Samantha has asked, how can the ministry, so this I think going to the department, embrace such innovations as Nkhalo.com, which is what we have launched here today, and also to Sukez, how has the Film Association been archiving audiovisual content? And then there's also another question here that says, can the Malawi Film Festival add MHub and the Nkhalo platform as a strategic partner for the 2023 edition? So let's start with those questions.
The first one.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, although I cannot speak for the ministry, but for the department, we have welcomed Nkhalo. This is the way to go. We have content, as I said, we have content, and this is content that is well researched. We are there as researchers. We have researched. We are there as conservators. We have conserved this information is there, but it's not in digital form. So Nkhalo is coming in now to give us that platform that we need to reach out to a wider audience. As I was challenging my friend here from the film industry to say, why can't we at one point see a movie, a Malawian movie, say, and starting with the words, with this statement to say, based on a historical account. So you are talking about probably what happened at Ngurianawambe, for example, in Kasungu, the Battle of Ngurianawambe, or any other battles that we have had, or battle at Hola Mountain, something of the sort. And because we are paper-based, and Nkhalo has come in with that digital format. And it is going to increase access, provide that access, because not all can come to the department to say we would want to see this or to appreciate this and that. But it is very easy for somebody from anywhere else in this world to just get to nkhalo.com and get to know something about Malawi. So this is something that we have been waiting for, and thank you so much, MHub, for this platform that we have.
Okay. So can you remember the question? How has the Film Association been archiving audio-visual content? And also, when you're answering that, tell us, can the Film Festival, which is by the Film Association, and MHub and Nkhalo platform, partners, strategic partners?
Okay, as an association, we haven't had any archiving, local archiving platform like here in Malawi. We mostly use YouTube. That's where most people, they upload their content when it comes to music videos, drama, movies, and sometimes they use international platforms like Showmax and other countries, you know, because we don't have a local platform. To build something like this, it's for association, I think we don't have the capacity as of now to have, let's say, an archiving platform. But I'm glad that now there is this website, Carol, which I'm sure that we'll have to partner. It's a must to partner with MHub so that people who have movies, they should be able to put their movies there. You know, we have had movies in Malawi, for example. There's a movie, Bela, which was shot in 2002, I think. But if you go anywhere, you cannot find it, right? Even Last Fishing Boat by Shemjua, just now it has been bought by international platform Showmax, right? But before that, because he stopped selling DVDs, there's nowhere where you could find those kind of movies. So I'm sure that Carlo will be able to have that platform where people can be uploading their movies and maybe document that, okay, this was the first movies in Malawi, or probably this was the first, you know, we need this kind of platforms to be able to act. So we'll partner with MHub, even for the festival. want it to be a little bit bigger than the first one which we had last year. And we're not only looking at Malawi now, we want to see if we can have our partners from other countries like Zambia, because they have their industry a little bit bigger. So it's better maybe we also learn from them. Maybe we invite them to this festival. We learn from them, probably teach us a few things so that we are able to go together to involve in the film industry at like SADC. As he said that we have common issues in Southern Africa in terms of the stories, even language, even the dressing. So if we do it on a bigger scale, I feel like it can benefit a lot of people. And also if I do a movie, it's not just Malawi now. We're looking at the whole SADC region, which can be behind that, meaning that it's easy to be a powerful thing if we're talking in large numbers, because it's all about numbers. So yeah, we'll partner with MHub most definitely.
All right, perfect. And Shika Haridas Pole says, what role can young people play in the preservation of culture and heritage, which I think is something that we discussed as we did our conversation. Yeah. And secondly, she says, how can we strike a balance to ensure that more young people are using the digital platforms to promote and preserve our culture instead of using it copying Western cultures, which they are usually more exposed to?
You can tell you? Okay. I think it's about civic education. We have to be able to teach them, like, this is how we operate this, because we are here, we might be conservative with the technology, but someone in the most rural area, they might not know how to use this kind of platforms, and they even don't know how, if they exist. So it's better we go there, we teach them that there's this platform. If you have something which you want to be preserved, you can use this, because if we don't do that, it's same as it doesn't exist. So we have to make sure we educate young people. If he's going to schools as well, they should mention it, you know. I'm sure that there's a plan for the campaign for people to be able to know this platform exists. Because if we have this and we don't campaign it or we don't market it, then it's same as there is nothing.
Just to agree with him, the first step is having to expose our young people, both to the content and to the platforms that they have. We are saying that young people this time around, they're copying Western cultures and life. Where are they copying? You see that they're exposed to movies. Supposing we had more our own movies, dressing like real Malavans. Go for that. The Kwaito you said, you talked about. And why not Chopa? And why is it that people have gone to Kwaito? Kwaito, you see that if you go on YouTube, you find a lot of that content there. And there's promoters of our plays. They are so good at doing it. I think we need also to bring in more promoters for our local content, because they are doing quite a lot. And not all our plays have a good strategy. They produce a content, and that content will be a boom the next day. So what we need is to expose our young friends to the content that we have. And there is no better way of doing it other than having them to see us do it. Because they can't do it if they don't see it. Exactly. So it has to start with us. Yes, it can be in books. Not most of us like. So when they see us, that's when they can be interested. So visual platforms, they're very, very important in transmitting the cultural values to the country. So if we invest in this, I think we can bring in more youth to start getting interested in our cultural issues.
Perfect. Yeah, I think the best way to actually help them get exposed to these things by creating the content that they can always see when they go online, when they go to these platforms, and then that's how we can actually yes, because it's also an issue of quality. It's not everything they want to see good things that interest them. All right, great. Let's go to a few more questions before we wrap it up. Isaac Nsambila says, did Suitcase receive the 200 million kwacha to do the movie? And as well, he's limiting himself from some youth who have interesting questions. I don't know, you got some 200 million for a movie? Isaac, maybe if you can explain for which movie and from where? Yeah.
Paying 200 million for a movie. I'm sure that movie would be in production by now, but right now we don't have any movie in production because yeah.
All right. How Valentino Vincent Mose, how will Nkhalo digital archiving platform benefit filmmakers in Malawi? What do you think? How do you think filmmakers will benefit from this?
I think that question I would have to take it to MHub. I'm sure that people will be able to monetize even maybe their content, because that's what I think limits most of film producers. We can have a platform like this, but if I have a movie and if I'm just putting there and people to be downloading and I've spent money to do that movie, it's unfair for me. But if they say, okay, maybe for latest content, for example, which is still people are enjoying, like let's say film or probably latest music video, and someone says, okay, if you have maybe these clicks on your music video, then you can get so much, you know. If they get five, I'm sure they should be able to have a way to try to monetize their website, because we have seen that YouTube doesn't do it for Malawians. Yeah. So having a local platform like Nkhalo, where people can upload and at the same time get something for them to continue doing more works, I think it will be very encouraging than just putting there.
Yeah, and I think one other way that I'm looking at it is because this is a platform where people are archiving like a lot of things. So if I'm a filmmaker and probably I'm looking for a script about something, I would be able to go on Nkhalo and find somebody who has documented something, whether it's in pictures or he just did a vlog or he just wrote something that he had seen. Probably it's now a platform where people can actually work, where you can say, oh, I saw posted about this. Can you say this is an interesting story?
Yeah.
Can we hear the whole story, develop a script from it into a movie?
Yeah.
So I think it also helps in more other ways before we even start thinking of monetizing. Concepts about what can be created,
the story,
things like that.
Yes, true.
Let me see if we have any other questions. I think those are the questions that came through. And I think also because of time, we are kind of the time that we're expecting to be here. Yeah, I think I've done most of the questions that came through. So thank you so much to everyone that tuned in to this panel discussion and also for the questions that came through. We're so proud that you were able to follow this conversation, and make sure you visit the website itself, nkhalo.com, and see what's there. And I think from the partnership and also whatever MHub has in store, we'll be able to actually learn more and see what other steps are being taken. Thanks to HIVOS, Southern Africa, and all our partners in the other countries that this thing is reaching out to, for being there and supporting this step into the archiving of what I think is the archiving of the future. So let me now go back to our friends, the hosts, so we can finish this live broadcast. Thank you so much. I've been the moderator for this panel discussion, Dennis Imani, and back to our host. Thank you.
Thank you very much, then, for that the Nkhalo Digital Archiving Platform is an initiative that is being implemented by MHub with support from HIVOS. So right now, allow me to welcome a HIVOS representative, Ms. Samantha Ningomasha, who wants to give us a few remarks of the Nkhalo and in general of the implementation of the platform. Over to you, Samantha. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been a great launch. I've enjoyed all the discussions that have been had during this launch. So thank you, gentlemen, for leading us through this platform. Our special appreciation goes to MHub. We've noted the different efforts that you've put to make this work, from developing the platform to also launching it and involving the different stakeholders that we found here. So as HIVOS, we always want to create platforms for debate and dissent in society because we strive for positive change, openness, and diversity. So we've really appreciated the different partnerships that we saw, the knowledge sharing, the ownership, as well as the open engagement. More conversations were had and more points came from those conversations, but we would like to stress on the importance that it's important for us to preserve our history and our heritage. And for us as the Room Project, we see it as a very critical component in our programming. So criticality is still important. Let us be part of the journey that documents and archives and preserves our different knowledge systems. We've never worried in terms of sustainability with MHub, so we are very positive that this platform will endure, but for it to be very successful, it takes each and every one of us to make it meaningful. So we do hope to see the outcomes of the platform, and just thank everyone who's managed to join the launch. Back and over to you.
Thank you very much, Samantha. So right now, this marks the end of our Nkhalo Digital Archiving Platform launch. I'm sure you might still have some burning questions that you still want clarity, things that you still want to understand. So feel free to contact us directly, MHub, through email at info@mhubmw.com. You can as well visit our Facebook page, write us through Messenger. We'll be able to respond and try to connect you to the relevant authorities in case you have questions for UNESCO, in case you have questions for the Department of Museum and Monuments, in case you might have questions for SUKES, for the Film Association of Malawi. Other than that, thank you for making time to join the launch. I'm sure you, just as I have been equipped, you have been equipped with a lot of information. I mean, this was really informative. It was really impactful, and I'm sure we will learn to value and to archive our culture in the near future, henceforth using the Nkhalo website, the Nkhalo Digital Archiving Platform. Other than that, thank you for joining. Have a beautiful day.